Hello, bonjour, здравствуйте, assalamu alaikum, guten tag, ni hao, konnichiwa, hola, and a big warm welcome to the Crafters Party podcast. That's right, I have had to change the name because I'm no longer just a knitter. Now that I've come back to San Diego, I am doing all the crafts, and so this is going to be more than a knitting show, still very heavily knitting focused, but I will definitely be having a lot of non-knitting to show you, and I'm really excited about what I've got coming up for the next couple of months, and I am absolutely stoked to be crafting as much as I have been it's really been like 1 week that I've been crafting a whole lot, and it's made me really happy. I feel good about it, so let's just get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? It's been about a month since my last podcast. I've been working, I've been hanging out with friends, I've been drinking a lot of beer, that's about it. That's like sort of my life these days. And so, heyo, let's get right into the knitting, shall we? I've got a finished object, finally. It's been probably 4 months since I've had a finished knitting object. No, that's not true. I had Thor recently. But I finally finished my Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erica Luder. This pattern, I've been knitting these socks since March. And so to have them done and off the needles is really great because now I get to wear them. And as you can see, I have definitely been wearing them. So I'm sorry they're not like clean and pristine, but they're beautiful socks and I love them. A little bit about the yarn. The toes and cuffs are Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock in the colorway Grape Jelly. And the sock itself is Malabrigo Sock Yarn in the colorway Wales Road. I love these. They're actually quite tall. They come up about halfway up my calf, which is really nice because I've been freezing these days, and especially my office is really cold where I work, and so to have like nice tall long hand knit socks is really great. And I know I've said before that I don't love wearing hand knit socks in shoes, and that's still true to an extent, but I think this yarn is a lot softer than some of the other yarns that I've used and for socks, and so they actually feel really nice inside my shoes. It could just be that I also have new shoes, and so they're like not old and decrepit yet. And so that's that. But I'm so happy. I love them and they're great. What's so funny? I posted a picture on Instagram. If you find me, oh yeah, come find me on Instagram at Meg311yo. Same with Ravelry. Definitely add me on there if you want to see what I'm up to and see all my favorites, and you know what's on Ravelry, right? But what's so funny, I posted a picture on Instagram of me wearing my socks, and my friend Lindsay was like, oh my god, I want, and I was like, Lindsay, I made you a pair of socks out of this exact yarn. Like, in fact, I bought this yarn about a year ago because I was going to be knitting socks for Lindsay. I love the yarn so much that I had to save half the ball and knit myself some socks, right? But turns out she had never received them. My parents came to visit us when we were living in Egypt. They came to visit us in March, and I had them take the socks back home so that they could give it to Lindsay and so that she could have her pair of hand knit socks that I knit for her with this yarn. So my parents gave the socks to my sister, who has seen Lindsay a million times because they're good friends. And then Amanda just kept them in her sock drawer for 8 months. Yep, 7 or 8 months. My friend Lindsay just got her hand knit socks that I have showed on this podcast at least in March, if not February. Like, it's really been way too freaking long. And so Amanda and Mom and Dad, I blame you for my friend not getting her hand knit socks in a timely manner. So that's the story behind the yarn and the story behind the knits, yeah? I'm really happy to have them off the needles because I've been knitting other socks, but we'll see. We'll talk about that in a minute. So this is my only knitting finished object. I've got some other finished objects, but I'm going to talk about knitting first and then move on to other crafts. So that's it for now. Hooray! Everyday socks. Hermione's Everyday Socks. All right, going on to my works in progress. My first whip, living in my beautiful Cushies bag that I purchased in Cairo at the Cairo flea market. This is something I'm knitting for my grandma. My grandma called me up. She said, Megan, I've bought this beautiful yarn, but I hate knitting with it. Can you knit me something? And I said, yeah, of course. Like, send it over. I'm an expert knitter. Like, I'll do all the good things with this beautiful yarn. I didn't get enough information on the phone with her, and turns out that this yarn was variegated, and I tend not to use variegated yarn on principle because I feel like I don't like it when things are stripy, or especially when you're knitting a shawl. I don't like it when the stripes get progressively more narrow as you knit longer rows, right? And so I didn't ask her what kind of yarn it was, and it shows up and it's like exactly the yarn I hate. Not only that, I'm sure you can see them, this yarn has a lot of sequins in it. And so it is a very sparkly sequined yarn. This is called Classic Shades Sequin Light, and this is the colorway Zenith. I've never used this brand before. Universal Yarn. I guess my grandma picked it up. It is, let's see, like 74% acrylic, 22% wool, and 4% sequin, which they call paillette. Paillette. I'm assuming that's the sequin part. But it looks like a gorgeous yarn. And so my grandma was like, I want a simple shawl, you know, something that I can throw over my shoulders that's going to, you know, be a nice shawl. And she was like, I don't want anything fancy. I don't want your fringe shawl. I don't want anything too complicated. I just want a beautiful, simple shawl. So I was like, okay, Grandma, I got you. And so once I found out that the yarn was variegated, I knew I couldn't do a triangle shawl. Again, I hate it when the stripes get progressively narrower in a triangle shawl with variegated yarn. So I was like, not having it. So I sort of decided to do a, just like a wrap, I guess, like a little stole wrap sort of thing. There's not a pattern that I'm using for this. And I'll tell you why, because I couldn't find a pattern for exactly what I was looking for. And so I'm just sort of making it up as I go along. This will not be an official pattern. But yeah, started at the top here with 3 stitches, increased, you know, until I thought it was wide enough. And then I'm sort of trying to make it where the top part that goes around your shoulders is a little bit shorter than the bottom part which goes around your back. So I'm doing this, I hope you can kind of see it. So this edge here is shorter than the edge at the bottom. And that is because I'm doing short rows 1/3 of the time. And so theoretically, the bottom of this should be 1/3 longer than the top of it. I don't know if that's quite enough. I think I'll be adjusting my stitches as I go, but it seems to be okay so far. I think the problem I'm going to run into is that I won't have enough yarn to really finish it. I have the rest of one skein and a second skein, but that's it. I feel like I might need 3 skeins to finish this for the length that I want it to be, but I don't have that luxury, so Grandma, you might just be getting kind of a short one. Also, I can block it out because this is wool. I'm assuming it's gonna grow when I block it out, and I'm sort of banking on that. I sort of hope that it will grow. Let me see if I can get this edge a little longer. But yeah, so I want it to sort of go around the back and then like come down in the front, but like the part that's around the shoulders is gonna be shorter, and then the part that's around the back is going to be a bit longer. So I hope that it's what she's looking for. This yarn is a pain in the butt to knit with. I had to rip out a whole bunch of this in various sections, and because of the sequins, it really gets like caught on itself. It's sequins and wool, and so the sequins and the wool like fight for attention, and the sequins always win, meaning that you can't pull that sequin through your stitch. It was no fun. It was definitely not fun to knit with. I'm not enjoying this knit, and Grandma, you might not get this for a very long time because it's not something I want to be knitting on. Oh well. That said, it is actually beautiful yarn. I have to say it's gorgeous. And I like the way that the stripes are knitting up at this moment. I think it's fine. I don't know how it's actually going to look when it's all done. So we'll see, I guess, right? Oh well. Anyway, that's my next work in progress. Next, I've got another work in progress for knitting. And this one, oh, I was like, why isn't it fitting? Because it only really fits the skein I'm using and the project itself. It doesn't fit the extra skein, but that's okay. I will just move this aside. Cool. My last work in progress on the needles at the moment is something I'm very excited about. Connie, if you don't want to see this, look away, but I'm sure she wants to see it. I am knitting my mother-in-law a beautiful pair of socks. And I am pretty far along. This pattern is the Oktoberfest Socken. Let me show you exactly. This pattern is the Oktoberfest Socken by Susan Dietrich. And it is a German-inspired cable, but it looks Celtic. And so I thought that that was actually kind of perfect because I'm German. I know my mother-in-law loves a Celtic braid. And so this is sort of a good mix of everything. So I've knit the cuff and it is so stretchy. Like this looks like it's all narrow because it's all 2x2 rib, but this thing stretches so much. I made sure I did a really stretchy cast on because I didn't know how long the, you know, the cuff would be. Let me see if I can, there we go. That's really nice. So that is the cuff with a really nice cable in there. And so these socks are inspired by a German pretzel. And so that is sort of like a German pretzel twist. I have knit some of the heel flap. I'm going to be knitting more of the heel flap. But I like a heel flap and gusset because I think it fits better than just a standard short row heel with toe up socks. And so I love a heel flap and gusset. I also think they're fun to knit. I love this Eye of Partridge heel, and it also makes it a little bit stronger because with the Eye of Partridge stitch, you sort of get these floats in the back that can add strength to, you know, an area that might be in the back of a shoe or something. You never know. The only thing I wish I had done differently, to the point where I'm reconsidering ripping this whole thing out and re-knitting it, is I didn't realize that the sock front and back was all 2x2 rib. And so when I was doing the cuff, you know, it's cuff down, it said, okay, do 10 rows of cuff and then go into your pattern. And it was like 10 rows, that's not enough. Like I want to have a nice long cuff so that if it's a really long sock, it'll go up over the calf and it'll maybe stay upright, right? And so I did 25 rows of the cuff before I started the cable pattern, and it's just not visually appealing. Not only that, I sort of wonder if I should have done another repeat of the cable before going into it. But that said, I don't know how tall she wants her socks. Also, I'm thinking if I have enough yarn left over, I can make like matching hand warmers. And so I'm trying to like maximize this yarn because I know she loves this color. I know it's beautiful. And I feel like I want to maximize it by giving her socks and hand warmers. And so I think that there's enough yarn for all of that. We're gonna give it a try. Anyway, I just don't love how long the cuff is before going into the cable pattern, considering that it's 2x2 rib all around. So I was more concerned with it not staying up because of a short cuff, but the whole thing is ribbed 2x2 and it goes all the way down the sock, which I don't love either. And so I'm thinking for the front of the sock, I'm thinking I'm gonna have these ribs sort of like slowly taper off into plain stockinette. We'll see. I've got all these ideas. We'll see what I actually come up with, but it's been a fun sock to knit, and I don't say that often about socks. But I like the cable pattern. It's really pretty. I like doing cables, and so it's exciting, you know, and it moves really quickly. So we'll see. I also understand very much how this is like German pretzel inspired, not only sort of like Celtic, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. About the yarn, I realized I didn't say anything. This is Malabrigo sock yarn in the colorway Solis, I believe. I think I threw away, how stupid of me. I think I threw away the label that had the colorway. I know it's on my Ravelry page, you guys can check it out. But I'm pretty sure it's the colorway Solis, S-O-L-I-S. But it's like this beautiful teal, sort of variegated. I love it, especially in this Eye of Partridge heel. You can really see the colors. Sort of unlike in the ribbing where it's sort of like just stripes a little bit. I don't know. Whatever. It's beautiful yarn, and I know that she loves the color. And I hope that I'll have enough for 2 socks and 2 maybe small hand warmers. So matching set coming soon. I'm hoping to get this done before Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, because actually my mother-in-law is coming down from Canada for American Thanksgiving, and so I get to host Thanksgiving for my mother-in-law. We did this once, I want to say in 2013, when we had just moved to San Diego. She came down for American Thanksgiving, and it was so nice to have her, and it was so nice to host, and it was really great to spend time with her. And it was a really quiet, small, intimate Thanksgiving, and it was perfect. You know, like sometimes, especially if I go home to Michigan, Thanksgiving can be this huge thing with 35 members of the family. There's like all this food. It's just like big, and it's like too much sometimes. And so to have like a really nice intimate Thanksgiving holiday is going to be really wonderful, and I'm stoked. So Connie, if you're watching this, can't wait to host you. Can't wait to have you here and to spend some time with you. It's been a really long time. She came to visit us in Egypt in July, the hottest month of the year. She comes to the Middle East desert to come visit us. Oh, poor woman. It was really hot, but it's been since July since we've seen her, so it'll be about 5 months, and that's a really long time. So I'm happy to host her. Anyway, that's it for my finished objects. That's it for my knitting. So if you're here only for the knitting, bye. But I've got a bunch of other crafts to show you. I can't wait. So stay tuned. Okay, I've got some other crafts, and I'm so excited. When we unpacked our storage unit, I remember I had ordered all these things from Hirschner's, the Hirschner's catalog, one Christmas, it was probably 2014, that I ordered a bunch of crafts, and I did about half of them. And so I unpacked some of my things, and I found all these like half objects, things that I had started but never finished, never got around to, I got bored with, what have you. But now they're brand new, you know, I've been gone for 2 years, and so I have all these crafts that are partially started, or in one case, like almost complete. And it was just really fun to pick them back up again and do it. So I'm going to start off with a finished object from the Hirschner's 2014 catalog or whatever. This is a bead art. Trying to get it against a white background. This is a bead art little tapestry that when I unpacked it, it was up to about here. And I had like 3 inches left to do. And so I was like just gung-ho about finishing it. And so this is part of a collection with seasonal owls, right? And so this one is the summer owls. We got his nice little sunglasses on, he's on a little branch, and then this guy is like on a boat. I don't know, I think it's friggin' awesome. And it's a really fun craft. If you've never done something like this, you basically sort of weave these beads in together. It takes no time at all to do one row. It maybe takes 1.5 minutes per row, and because these are pony beads, it goes by really quickly. I mean, each row is almost 1/2 inch, maybe like 5 centimeters or something. And so if you're doing this craft, it's really easy to see progress quickly. And so I was really excited about it. I absolutely love it. And this is part of a series, like I mentioned, it's like the seasonal owls. And so I've got now 2 that are completed. I'll show you the second one as well. But it was so nice to pick this up, finish. It took me about 3 hours maximum, like 2 hours even, to finish the bottom like 3 inches of this. And it's so great. And I was like, wow, you know, like I did this, it's finished, like, oh my God, I'm so happy. So I don't know if you can see, but I did make a mistake towards the bottom. Did you notice it yet? Yeah, I missed a red bead right here. This little blue bead should be a red bead to make the boat look more like a boat. You know what? Considering that I picked this up after 2 years of not having done it, I'm pretty impressed with myself for finishing it anyway, and I don't even care. So I'm just gonna hang it up on my wall and make it happen. So that's that. So this is a finished object. Now I want to show you the other one that the other ones that I've done, starting with this one, which is the spring owls. I finished this one in 2014. It's been hanging on our wall. In fact, they hang up like right on this wall behind me, and I absolutely love it. We got some nice tulips in here, little like rain and an umbrella. Oh my God, like this craft is so much fun, and it's really easy, and it's made with beads, and The kit comes with absolutely everything. I'll show you guys what a kit looks like because I've got two more. I've got winter and fall owls coming up. And so I think I'm going to be starting on the fall owls really soon here. So if you catch my podcast next time, I might have sort of a work in progress or even a finished object. If things get real exciting, we could do that. I think actually it goes this way. I'm not sure which way it goes. I mean, it's all up to artist interpretation anyway, right? But yeah. My favorite piece that I ever did of this bead art is actually, I'm staring at it now and it literally still mystifies me. And I had forgotten that I made all these. And so when I unpacked them in our storage unit, I was just so happy, especially because we had been living abroad for 2 years. When you're living abroad, you don't get your artwork on your walls. You don't even have your own like bedspreads and sheets. You don't have your own style in your home. And so to come back and unpack all of these things that we had was so amazing, and it was so nice, and it just felt like home again. Once we could put up a couple paintings on the wall, put up some art, we hung our degrees, like our bachelor's, and then Paul's got a bachelor's and a master's, working on his PhD. Like we hung up all of our university degrees on the wall. It just made us feel really proud again to like have our own place. And so that was cool. But this was by far my favorite thing that I unpacked. And this is a dragon, clearly, that's made out of these same beads from the Hirschner's catalog. And so this dragon was absolutely incredible. I remember doing this, but I had forgotten that I made all of these things. And so we got to hang this up. It's now hanging up in our hallway that leads to like our guest bedroom / office and our bathroom and everything. I just love it. And it's so perfect. It's like very much our style. We both really like fantasy and dragons and like Lord of the Rings, all this sort of stuff. We're really into it. And so to have this awesome piece of artwork was really nice to unpack. And I love showing it off. I'm really proud of it. I mean, look at this. Like this craft is so much fun. It's really easy to do actually. And the kit comes with everything you need. Basically, you've got like a little darning needle that you sort of like weave in and out, and you do a row at a time. If you see at the top, you basically have like one row of beads that is every other bead. And then the second row, you go in between those beads and you do a second row. And then the third row, you go in between those beads. And so you're literally just weaving them through. It's so easy to do. The instructions are very clear, and it just leads to this really amazing thing. And so I'm addicted to beading. I don't know what this craft is called. I'm gonna get one of the kits and show you guys in a minute, but I'm addicted to this. And now my problem is that, and I mentioned this before with knitting, I have enough sweaters. I have enough shawls. I've got enough hand warmers. I've got enough of everything. And so now when I knit, I'm gonna have to like think about projects that I can either give away, donate, do charity knits, I mean, what have you, but I really wanna make sure that I'm like knitting the right things so that they're not all for me. And so I think the same is gonna go for these bead arts. I would love to maybe sell them. I don't know, like, what do you guys think I should do in terms of like all the crafts that I wanna do, but I don't have the space to keep them all, right? And so like, what do you do? Like, do you sell them? Do you give them away to people who may or may not want it? Like, what's the right plan of action for that? So definitely let me know. But I'm fucking stoked. I absolutely love this, and I'm really happy to have it back. So that's that. Okay, they are kind of heavy, like because there's all these beads just hanging in a row, they're kind of heavy, like for sure. So that was just a little arm workout right there. Okay, let me go grab a kit and show you exactly what they look like. Oh my god, I just picked up the one. Oh, these winter owls are so cute. Let me open the bag because it's glued, so it's like resealable. Oh my god, look how cute those winter owls are gonna be friggin' adorable. Oh my god. Winter owls, they've got little hats. Look at their cute little hats. They're sledding. So this is the Winter Owl series, and you'll see it comes with absolutely everything included, straight up life-size instructions. And so what you do, you start at the top and you put your, you put your first row of beads on, and then you just go row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, and you just go down. And the kit includes instructions. It includes all, excuse me, it includes all the beads that you need. It includes this little rod for starting your, I might need a glass of water. It includes this rod for like starting your beaded project. It includes like the string and everything you need. And look at this like thing. It turns out life size. And how freaking adorable is that? And so this craft, I guess, is called, I don't know. It's just like, Beaded Banner Kit. That's what it's called. So if you go out to Hirschners.com and you search for a beaded banner kit right there, hopefully you will find what you're looking for. And they've got a million different options. I chose the winter owls, or I chose the 4 season owls. Oh my god, I think these are gonna be my favorite. I also did that dragon. There's all sorts of really beautiful ones. There's landscapes, there's cute things, there's baby things, there's adult things, like there's flowers, there's really a lot of beautiful things. Definitely give it a shot. This was like a $10 kit. It was so affordable. It was like just so much fun. It was so much fun to do, and I'm addicted. And so now I'm gonna be doing the fall ones. And then I can't wait to do the winter ones. Holy cow, that's so cute. Okay, now I'm like really even more excited to do it, like more stoked. Comes in a perfect little kit, like self-contained kit, everything you need. Cool. All right, for my last work in progress, a little bit of history. In my family, my great-grandmother on my mom's side, my great-grandmother gave us all, my cousins, needle-pointed stockings for Christmas. And since then, my Aunt Lynn, she also makes needlepoint stockings. They're beautiful and so well made, and it's so special to have like a handmade Christmas thing. And so I was thinking about it. This was back in 2015. I was thinking how my husband doesn't have a handmade stocking for Christmas, and so when my mom's side of the family gets together for Christmas, we've got all these beautiful handmade stockings hanging from the fireplace, and Paul doesn't have one. And so I decided to I decided to make him a needle-pointed stocking. And I know that you can knit stockings, and I personally don't love hand knit stockings for Christmas. I think they sort of sag, they lose their shape, and especially with like a sagging one or one that's knit, it's so pliable, it's so meshable. So if you want to fill a stocking, those hand knit ones just keep growing and growing because the stitches just spread out. And so I decided to make him a needle pointed stocking. So I believe I ordered this on Hirschners as well. Maybe not. Maybe I just ordered this on Amazon or something. You're right. This was a separate order. This was not from Hirschners. But I picked up this kit in 2014. As a kid, I had done a little bit of needlepoint, just like small things. I made a really beautiful, it was like a needle-pointed like pear picture. I don't know. I have it at my parents' house in Michigan. I should probably dig it out because it's really beautiful. I love it. And I used to work at Michael's Arts and Crafts. That was one of my first jobs in high school. From 16 to about 18 years old, I worked at Michael's Arts and Crafts. And so I just picked up all this stuff and was just crafting all the time because I worked at Michael's. It was an awesome job. Minus the sweeping the floor during like Christmas time because there would just be glitter and dust everywhere. It was hard to breathe. Anyway, I picked up this in 2014. I started knitting it, you can tell where my brain is at. I started needle pointing it a long time ago, and I didn't love it. I was like, what did I get myself into? This is a huge project. I've never done something this big. And anyway, I picked it back up. And I still don't love needlepoint, but I got a little bit done. And so in 2014, or whenever I picked this up, 2015, I had completed most of this top banner, but there was like a big section of this yellow that wasn't completed. So I finished that, and then I started doing this little blue corner in the side. Needlepoint just takes a very long time, more so than knitting, certainly more so than this beaded craft. And so needlepoint is not my favorite craft, but I like it. It's fun. You have to like wrap your edges, or else this canvas can like just graze against your skin, and just due to the repetitive motion, it grazes your skin in the same spot and really like irritates it. And so you have to like put tape on the edges and whatever. I think this is going to be a multi-year project. This is not something I can work on all the time, especially because this is all knit with floss, or it's all like needle pointed with floss and not with yarn. And so I know a lot of kits will use yarn. I don't know what I was thinking doing this all in like literally just like floss. This is just like petty point, you know, it's just floss. It's not yarn. It's probably the equivalent of a lace weight or a really light fingering weight yarn. And so this thing is gonna take me forever. I am doing a stamped pattern. Of course there were options for counted cross stitch or counted needlepoint, but I've never done that before. And I'm not confident in my skills enough to make it, I don't know, from a chart or something. I don't really even know how those like counted cross stitches work, because I feel like there are so many thousands of stitches that I would fuck it all up. I would absolutely screw it up and never be able to go back. But I'm really excited. The colors are vibrant and pretty. And the back of this is not bad. I had to learn how to do all these stitches. This is basically like the basket weave stitch. I think this is just the regular stitch. I don't know enough about needlepoint to know the names of these different stitches necessarily. But I'm really looking forward to having a completed stocking for Paul. And so I think it's going to be beautiful. And my craftsmanship is not bad. So I'm really excited about having this done, or at least working on it ad infinitum until I die. But by the time I die, I will have a completed stocking for Paul, and I will have at least one Christmas where I get to fill that with, I don't know, stocking stuffers. I love it. So that's it. That's everything I've got to show today. I have been crafting up a storm. I also ordered a brand new craft off of Amazon. It's called diamond painting, and I don't often respond to like Facebook advertisements, but this one showed up about 6 months ago in Egypt, and it was a Facebook advertisement for diamond painting. And basically what you do, it's like cross stitch or needlepoint. It's like you receive a stamped sticky piece of paper, and then you stamp in all of these like gems. And so you get an image, whatever you're making, you get an image, and it like is super shiny. So when you send it side to side, it's really shiny. In Egypt, I went out to this website, I got a big, giant, beautiful peacock, and I was like, Mom, I want you to get this for me for Christmas. Like, and so she did. I think she hoped I would forget about it, but I've been like noodling on this friggin' diamond painting forever. And so I broke down and I ordered a small kit on Amazon. It was like $10 for like this big. You know, the one that I ordered was like 60 by 70 inches. I don't know what I got myself into. It's gonna be huge. But if it turns out it's gonna be this gorgeous, beautiful peacock. The one I ordered is a lot smaller, and it's like an enchanted forest kind of thing. And I think this is a great way for me to like get my feet wet with the diamond painting craft. And so it's being sent from China. The estimated shipping arrival is like October 31st to like November 27th. There's like a giant window because it's coming from China. And it's definitely not being overnight shipped. No Amazon Prime there, but whatever. And so I'm really excited to receive this kit. I almost picked up a different one. There was a really beautiful picture of like a decorated cow. I know it sounds so strange, but it was like a cow face with like all these like pretty pink leaves and beads and stuff, and it looked really beautiful, and I was thinking I could make it for my niece Devin, but I didn't talk to my sister about it. she's not one for hand knit things or handmade items. And so I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna do that. I'll do something for myself first. And so I picked that up. So I hope I can be as addicted to that as I am to all these other crafts, because having this time has really made a difference in my life. Like, it feels good to like craft again, and more than just knitting. Like, I love knitting, but I love crafting. And like having my hand in a bunch of different projects keeps them all interesting. Because right now I'm knitting that sock, the Oktoberfest sock, and I'm knitting that at work during my lunch breaks. And so I knit for about 45 minutes every day during my lunch break. And that's a lot of time for me to sit down and knit. So when I come home, I will work on the beaded craft for an hour. And then after that, I've sort of like regimented my days. I come home roughly like 5:30, we'll have dinner, and then I'll work on my beaded craft until 8. At 8 o'clock, I go do yoga for like 45 minutes, which turns into an hour with like a shower and stuff. And then after that, for the rest of the time before I go to bed around 10, I will do another craft, usually like needlepoint or something. And so I'm like trying to regiment my day so that I've got like time for everything I want to do. Because before, I would just come home and I would just like sit and binge on Netflix. And I was not doing enough crafting. I wasn't getting anything out of Netflix. Like, I wasn't like getting satisfaction from it. And I was like, I gotta make a change here. And so I just decided one day, like, I'm gonna pick up yoga. And after I did yoga, I was like, I feel like crafting. And then I started like regimenting my days, and I'm so much happier. And so I still might watch like an episode of something on Netflix every day. But I'll do that when I'm knitting, or I'll do that while I'm bead arting, you know, like I can sort of divide my attention, and television is not exciting anyway. And so I don't feel like I'm missing out by not watching as much television as I was before. So it's been a really good change. I'm super stoked about all these crafts, and I hope you're excited for me too. I will put links in the down bar below for like Hirschner's, like all these beaded art things. I'm gonna try and do a search and like link it so that you can see where that's at. And then you know, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Meg311yo. You know that you can like always send me messages on Instagram or Ravelry, whatever you want. Just let me know, man. What are you crafting? So I want to ask a question. Yeah, please tell me, comment below, what other crafts do you do? I know that this has been a knitting channel for years. What other crafts do you do? Do you do bead art? Do you make jewelry? Do you do cross stitch or needlepoint? Do you, you know, do bead art? Do you do diamond painting? What other crafts are you interested in? Yeah, like, do you make soap? You know, like, there are so many handicrafts and so much to do with your hands. Like, do you build furniture? Do you build things? Like, what do you do? What other things do you do other than knitting? Or if you only knit, that's great. Tell me why. Like, have you tried other crafts and you just don't necessarily care for them? Do you just really have a thing for fiber arts? I mean, like, let me know, like, what other crafts you do, because now I'm addicted and I need to know all the crafts. And I can't wait, because I'm about to sign up for that Hirschner's Christmas catalog again, and they're going to be sending me that shit for years. So I can't wait. Heyo, that's it. I'm really excited. Even just talking about these crafts gets me really, like, I feel amped. It could have been the coffee I had this morning out of my grumpy mug. Picked this up at the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada. Little blue house. Anyway, it's a cute little mug. And I had a big cup of coffee this morning, so yep. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Happy crafting, happy knitting. Have a really awesome weekend. See you next time. Ma salama. Bye.